Okay. How's everybody tonight? Long day?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, good. So I guess it would be good to know um, what level, what age group, just some background of the coaches. How long you've been coaching, just so I have an idea. Are you, coach, are you with
The,
just
the
one
liver
team?
here in Morocco, you can say the liver here in Morocco is still beginner or rookie. Uh, the most coaches trying coaching about 1 or 2 season.
Okay. Okay. Has anyone played? I mean, I coached in Italy a few years back, and it was a fantastic experience because the guys there just really loved it. They didn't play for the money, that's for sure. But so just to give you a little bit of my background, um, I've played a number of years, but I was fortunate to be my college coach was a guy named Jim McNally, and if you have access to YouTube, um, if you look him up, he back when I was in college, he was starting out and he was a big innovator. He was always trying new things. And from there, he went on to the NFL. And I lost touch with him for about 30 years. But during that time, he became regarded as the best, if not one of the best offensive line coaches in football. And a lot of it had to do with his innovation and trying new things and learning. He wasn't afraid to learn from other coaches. So, fortunately, a few years ago, I was doing football clinics and I was reunited with him. And he taught me everything he'd learned over the years, and he's still learning. He's 73 years old, and he's still learning and advancing what things he's learned in offensive line play. Another one of my teammates from Boston College, who also played for Jim McNally, they worked together over the years, and this guy John Strollo, and he's huge in innovating offensive line play, and it all has to do with technique. That's what it's all about. So what I'm gonna do is just go through a lot of fundamentals. I'm gonna show you video. I'm gonna try to show you what I can, um, just from what I can do sitting here, if that works. Okay, so a big thing with football is hand placement, but back when I played, it was always the mindset was the lowest man wins, and which was ridiculous because you'd wind up trying to get your head under the guy, and it uh, just didn't work. And so so this guy John Strollo, actually, this will give you a great perception of what someone can do with their hands and not using their head. He actually gets lower than this guy and uses his hands and instead of his head. But I want you to watch his footwork. The big thing is this angle in here. Okay, we call this angle of stability, and he's going to actually take a step back. See, a long time ago, you did not do that. You stepped at the man. You wanted to attack the man. We take a step back. It's called a brace. We want to brace ourselves for the contact, and also get in a position of more power. So watch what he does with this guy. You see that with his foot? Just a little difficult here, trying to control the speed. Watch his back foot. See his back foot go back? Hmm. Let me go one more time. Okay, so watch his right foot. It's going to come right about here, but that's what it's all about. And then watch his hand placement. Look at that. He just blew him off the ball. Now, the position we want to play in, it's called being condensed. So, what do I mean by that? Being condensed is playing feet about shoulder width, a little more than shoulder width, and your toes are out. Your toes are pointed out. Your knees are facing out as well. And most times now, coaches are discovering that a 2-point stance. Most coaches are teaching a 2-point stance now. So guys are coming out. Their hands are in here, and they're playing from a 2-point stance. With the weight, your weight is on your insteps, okay, and your hands are in here, so you can just strike. The big thing we want to do with our hands, when I say play condensed, it's we're in a fairly uncomfortable position. Why is this thing screen is paused? Okay. We want to play in a really, because it keeps us stable. The tighter we can get, the smaller we can get, the more stable we are. All right. So I'm going to pull up another video here so you can get an idea. Anybody have any questions about that?
No, it's good for me.
Okay. So these are the linemen that John Strollo. John Strollo is a guy you probably would never hear of in the United States, even unless you were a real coaching fanatic. But he is one of the greatest innovators of offensive line technique, and he didn't make it up all himself. He learned it from other guys, and so and he's really good about helping other people and teaching other people. And that's where McNally, all these really good coaches in the U.S. got a lot of their stuff from. So I've been really fortunate to learn these techniques from these guys and to coach with them. And so I just want you to watch. These are the drills that they go through as an offensive line. I want you to watch their position. Okay. Now this is being condensed. See, this guy is in a good position. See, his toes are pointed out, right? So he is really solid right here. His butt is way down. He's not sitting backwards. Now when he goes to make contact with somebody, he's going to be in pretty much the same position, only when he makes contact, if there wasn't somebody there, he'd probably fall forward. But see, what you're going to see in the video is when I start playing it, they can move front, forward, backwards, side to side. They can pass block out of this position. They can run block out of this position, and they're condensed. You always see guys that are just like this guy's about probably 6'7", 6'8", but he's playing really tight. He's playing condensed. Everything's close. The big thing is also keeping your elbows. We want our elbows inside. So see it where my hands are, like this. We don't want to turn them too far out. But what happens when I turn my hands like this, my elbows turn inside. Because what we want to do is we never want to let the defensive lineman get to our chest. That's a big no. If he gets to our chest, we're in trouble. So we want to protect. We want to ward off, keep his hands off us. So I just want to watch the way they move. They do all their drills like this. Left, right. Now you're going to see that it looks like they're hopping a little bit, but you're going to see in a second why they do that. It's called kind of like a scoot step, they call it. But you see how they play low? You see how they're never extending their, like getting tall, they're not standing up, they play low.
John, this is Mark. I'm not seeing
Mark.
your screen. I'm not sure if everybody else is or it's just me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry about that.
Yes, same there.
Oh, I thought, yeah, okay. You got it now, right? Mark?
Yeah, I got it now.
Now it's good.
Yeah.
Now it's
Okay,
good.
I apologize. The joys of Zoom. Okay. All right, here we go. So now, all right, watch their feet. Do you see how they play low? They're condensed the whole time. They're condensed, and I can't emphasize that word enough. So what I tell when I coach guys, I say condense, so they get in a low position, foot fire. I get them their feet moving, and then go. You know, they move in different directions. But the command I give is, you know, when I'm coaching guys is condense, so that gets them tight and they're conscious of it. And you see how they stay square all the time. Their bodies, they're not turning their bodies. Now this is just working on their punching. But you see how they're not lunging? See, watch their feet. Their feet are planted. Their feet are rooted. This is what we want. We want our feet to be rooted and the weight on our insteps. You see how his heels really aren't coming up? They're working on circular force here. So this is where you can turn, you'll punch and turn, like turn a guy. We want to move him out of the way. We don't want to take his force on all the time. You know, we try to meet force for force. You know, a lot of times guys are bigger and stronger than us. We're not going to move them. So you know, the more we can create angles and get them off their course, it's to our advantage. So now this is like he's where he's working toward a linebacker, but see how they stay square. Now this is a double under. It's called a double under. Watch his hips. It's just like lifting. You see that? Watch his feet. You see he's not coming up on his toes, right? And see how he stays on his insteps the whole time? Right here. Watch. He's coming up a little bit on his toes, but now he's winding up. He doesn't want to wind up. He wants to be in a condensed, sprung position so he can explode and just lift. We get that guy lifted. That's when we control him. We define where he's going. And guys, these med balls, they're one of the best ways to, because it gets your hands focused tight and you're not beating up your own guys. Saves the hands, but I would highly recommend using these as well, because you can do a million drills with them. But see, now he's rocking a little bit. He should be more condensed, like this guy. See this guy? I'm sorry, question? Watch his feet. See what's coming up? Boom, boom. There's a lot of force coming there. He's taking all the strength. Our hips and our glutes, you know, this part of our body, the strongest muscles in our body are right here. So we call our feet anchors. So our feet are rooted, they're anchored in the ground. So we're generating all this force here, and that force is braced against the ground, and we're transferring that force up to our arms, to our hands. Our hands are our anchors. So we anchor in, because listen, you know, if we were standing up tall, we could hit that guy all day and not move him. But if we take all this force down here and transfer it out into our arms, essentially that's what they're doing. So this is, now imagine if you have a guy lined up outside you know, typically a 3 technique or you know, 1 technique, you know, guy outside shoulder, inside. and we want to cover him. The word is cover. So because a lot of times we get an edge on him, the back is coming and he's seeing part of this guy and, you know, part of this, and he doesn't know where to cut. So if we cover him and just the back doesn't see the guy, we've done our job now, and we just got to get him moving and just cover him up. And now we're in a great position to define where we want to take him. Does that make sense? Because if we take him if we step at him, say he steps at him here and he comes across inside, we're in trouble. That's why we take the brace step here. Watch this guy. He's going to take a step there. Watch his foot. See how he kind of steps back? The reason he does that is because this guy, if he comes inside, and if he steps at him, he's gone. He lost him. Does that make sense? Because now he's still square. By taking that step, he's still square in the guy. He's still in front of him. So if the guy steps, if this guy slants inside, he adjusts to him. And what he's also doing, back a little bit. He's taking his one hand, you can't see his right hand, but he's punching with the right hand and coming under with his left. You see that? See, now watch right here. So watch this guy. He's going to punch. He's going to see how he's straight arming. He's kind of giving a long arm. We call it a long arm. Stop sign hay bale is a term some coaches use for it. I use it when I coach kids at camp. So you're punching that outside shoulder of the defensive lineman. You're punching him and you're stunning him. You're just keeping him in place, and you're long. It's a long arm. It's a powerful arm. And then you're coming with the other hand, and now you can move him. You can toss him. You can lift him, but you stop his charge, and now we lift him. I know it sounds easy, you know, but when you do it, it's really effective. Now this is just a double. He's taking him straight on. Watch this guy again. See his foot. I want you. I can't emphasize this enough. Watch his footwork. Watch his right foot. He goes back. See that? Back. It's a brace. He's bracing himself to think, because if this guy is firing across, he's going to stop his charge. But if he doesn't, if he steps at this guy, if he took a step here and this guy's jetting across, he might just get an edge of him, but he's not gonna get all of them. This way, he's got him covered. He's gonna get the whole man, the whole guy. All right, and the back can go right, go to the left, go to the right. All right, but if he steps at him and he moves one way or the other, this guy's got a problem. And truthfully, that's the way we did it, you know, a million years ago. The thing was gain ground. You step at the guy, and there were so many times where it was like, whoa, geez, where'd he go? Like if guy slanted, we were in trouble. And now there's so much more that the defenses are doing. By taking the step, you can read what they're doing. If they, you know, if he's looping out and the other guy's coming around, you know. But watch how low he stays. He stays condensed. He's a center. Watch his footwork. To the left. Watch his footwork. Guys, footwork is everything in this game. Footwork and body position. So I want you to see, watch his left hand. He's kind of hooking him on his left. See, now this is like attacking a linebacker. But you see how the hands are tight? He's protecting their whole mindset is to protect their chest, because if they expose their chest, they're in trouble. But everything is done with hands inside. It's almost what you want your hands together. You don't, because you can't get a good strike. But the point is, get your hands and see the elbows are tight. I mean, I don't care what level you see or how good the players are. This technique is you're not going to see technique better than this. This is Ball State University, where it was a pretty good program. But John Strollo, my buddy, did a heck of a job there. You see how he just moved? Watch his steps. They're short. There's no long steps. He's just hopping along, and he's in a power position the whole time. He's in a position of power the whole time. Now, this is if you get a bit of a stalemate. You throw the hips forward. See that? See the hips go, and you press. See his watch. Hold on. See this arm? He's pressing. He's inside. We always want our hands inside this guy, the defender. And, as you well know, defensive coaches teach these guys to get their hands inside. So there's a drill you can do. I know Mike Munchak, the offensive line coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, great coach. Every warm-up period, they do a drill, and it's a refit. So they start out, guys got a hand on one shoulder, the defender's got a hand on the other shoulder, and they do it slowly, but they work on getting their hands inside of each other. And it's a great drill, because you're not always going to be the guy to get your hands inside. Those guys are great athletes. Defensive linemen are really good athletes, and they're taught to do things, to get their hands in the right place. So it's always a battle to get your hands inside. So we just call it a refit. Refit. I yell at guys all the time, refit your hands, because if they're getting pressed back by the defense, refit your hands. And this is a perfect example of it right here. This he's inside this guy's shoulder. So as a result, his arm is long. He's got more length than him. What's he gonna do? He can grab his jersey, but what's he gonna do? Pull against himself? All right. And he's underneath him. He's lifting. Anybody have any questions? Watch the base now. Watch his base. You see how they keep their base the whole time? Maybe I lost. Okay. There. See, watch. Pressing him. Look at this guy. He's now with his left arm. He's pressing with his left hand. But you got to understand, when you're inside, I don't care how long that defensive lineman's arms are. If you're inside of him, you're in control. You're controlling him. He can't grab you. He can't pull you, because if he pulls, he's pulling against himself. So the only thing he can do is refit. And by the way, you get in a position like this sometimes, and especially centers, coaches, like centers, they're at a disadvantage because they got to snap the ball and come up with one hand. I could show you a video of guys using one arm. We call it a long arm. You get your hand in the middle of the chest of a defensive lineman, and you can long arm the guy and block him that way. And the guy's he's flat. One arm is longer than two. Always remember that one arm is longer than two. If you can extend one arm, pass protection. When I get to that, you'll see what I mean. We never put two hands out at one time. Watch how square they stay. Pressing. See him pressing that shoulder. Now these are subtle things. This is subtle. This is not something you see all the time. But this is stuff you work on in practice. You do, you know, when you're doing your pre-practice or your individual period, you do these drills, and when it comes to a game situation, scrimmage situation, it becomes second nature. It's muscle memory. The guys, it just comes naturally. And the more they do it, the more they work on it, it's automatically there. And you'll see guys that, you know, I've seen guys that are just incredible athletes, huge, fast, strong. And then you take a guy he's an okay athlete and he's got decent strength. But if he's got better technique, which some guys are phenomenal, you know, I was crazy about using great technique. They're going to win. They're more times than not, they're going to beat the defensive lineman. Now, this is a drill where this is like would be in pass protection, where they use circular force. So, I mean, the guy's not going to be thrown that easily, but it's incredible. You have your feet rooted. Your feet are rooted in the ground, and you just throw him. You'll lock him up and throw him, and just take him where he wants to go. You can do all these things in practice. This is a great drill to do. Would be great for pass protection, and just getting your guys moving their feet, getting used to playing condensed. There's something about it's called getting comfortable being uncomfortable, because this isn't the most comfortable position in the world. It's not fun to be that, but it gets you used. The more you do it, the less uncomfortable it seems. Your body adapts to it, and you just mirror the guy. You know, you're watching your feet. You're mindful of where your feet are moving, and you're using your hands at the same time. So as a result, doing this drill, you're not overextending. You always see guys overextend. It happens all the time. They overextend, and the guy's running past them. That's why we want to be in front with a good base and inside of him. So remember, the big thing is the base. Protect your chest. Get your hands inside, and stay condensed. Stay tight. You got to get your defenders to work for you. You know, the guy over here, he's got to move to make him work. Now, this is something where, you know, guy's got an edge. Like this would be on pass protection. So say this guy is really quick and he gets the edge. Well, once he gets past this guy's foot, he's by him. He's got a problem. So what this guy does, he steps a little bit deeper and just hooks him. It's a lot easier. See how he steps back? I know I'm throwing a lot at you here, but there we go. Watch this. He steps back. He's recovering. He's trying to recover. See, look, he hops his foot back. Hops the foot back because he wants to stay front line. Now, this is just a great drill. You know, you can't do one-on-ones all the time. You know what I mean by one-on-ones? Guys banging each other. You know, they beat the heck out of each other, and guys develop really lousy technique as a result. But that's why I love these med balls. Now, notice again the hands. The right hand strikes high, the other one low. Stop sign, hay bale. Stop sign, hay bale. Now, this would be like they're trying to stay square if they've got a man over them, but they need to get to a linebacker. So what they want to do is they want to stay square up in this gap. They don't want to get turned. So everything they do, they want to stay square to the line. Everybody understand what I mean by square? Like if this is the line, they want their body facing that line, their whole body square to that line as much as possible without turning. So what he's doing here is he's just taking a step here and bumping him out of the way so he can stay square and come up on the linebacker, as opposed and knocking him out of the way and helping out, the guy's got to cut him off. But he's just bumping him so he can stay square and get to his linebacker. He's covering his gap. Okay, I got another one for you. Any questions? No.
Nope.
Coach, can you, for some reason it says host disabled participant screen sharing. Coach? Oh, got it? Coach, can I get the screen share again? Mark? Hey, Mark?
Yeah.
I'm trying to screen share here. I mean, I need to be co-host or,
Yeah. I don't have the power.
yeah,
Who's the admin that can fix the hosting?
I'm not sure. I was talking to him earlier. Coach,
Is
could you
Mohammed on the
possibly?
line?
I think so. I think he's a host. Coach, could you set up the screen? I mean, make me a host again,
Yeah,
please?
share screen.
There we go.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks a lot.
Sorry for
No worries.
Thank you.
All right, now this is a double under. All right, this is a technique. This is just about staying square and getting up underneath the guy. Now, okay, watch the right tackle. Watch this guy right here. Now, this guy's about 6'8", 6'9", but he got underneath the guy. And he didn't do it with his head, did he? He did it with his hands, and he's just walking him back. Boom, double under. He just moved him right out of the way. Watch left tackle here. Now, is he running at him or no? What's he doing? Watch his foot. He's just squaring up. Watch. He's not lunging at him. He's taking short, choppy steps, and he's just lifting. This guy's another guy, about 6'8", 6'9", getting underneath the guy. Watch this. Watch the center here. Watch the center. See how square he stays? And he's just lifting. He's probably holding a little bit too, but see how he's inside him? See how tight their hands are? Watch how tight his hands are. So he's lifting, and He's just taking him out of the way. He might have got called there. But watch his hands, how tight his hands are. Now this is, okay. Watch the left guard. Watch the left guard here. I mean, you know, is he smashing him with his head? Is he trying to? No, watch. He's just controlling the guy. See, his first step is back. Watch his first step. Back. And then he's just controlling. He's underneath him. Guy's out of the play. He just abuses this guy. Watch him here. Watch his left foot. Did he step at him? No. Watch, boom, right in the middle. See how tight his hands are? He's got him right under his shoulder pads in the front, and he's holding, and he's just controlling him. Same here. Watch. The guy's about 300 pounds, 320 pounds. Watch him again. Watch his first step again. I know it's redundant, but watch the first step. Boom. Second step is in the ground just as fast, and he's got the wide base and the triangle stability. Now, this is what I want you. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this guy, Will Wolfolk, or not, but this guy he's 400 pounds. This defensive tackle, 400 pounds, and he's a monster. But watch what this guy does. Watch his feet. This is why it's all about where the feet are rooted. See that? That wasn't like a devastating block. I mean, it wasn't like he planted him on his, you know, but he knocked him down. But I mean, he was just in the right position. His feet is low. He keeps his feet moving, and he keeps his base wide, and he's got the weight on his insteps. And look where his hands are. Watch his hands. See how tight his hands are? He's inside of them. If I'm telling you, if he had come wide with his hands and Wolfolk had gotten to his chest, the guy would be 73, would be 10 yards back. So for a big guy like that, he stayed condensed. Watch this guy coming across. I mean, anybody can do this. What? Boom. Squares up. Locked up inside. This guy's playing, he got held, but he got blocked. Watch 74 here. He's got a great triangle stability. Boom. Watch that. Look at that. You see that base? Look at his feet. Not up on his toes. His weight is on his insteps. Look, his hands are inside. That's almost picture perfect right there. Look at that. And he just controls them. Now, this is a Cincinnati Bengals practice. Watch this guy. He's just a skinny little wide receiver. Watch when he does his DB. What'd he do? Watch what he does. His hands are in tight. He roots his feet and he lifts. And this guy's a heck of a player over here, too. Now look at that. Look at this. Now maybe I'm not a fan of being on his toes, but he's a wide receiver. But nevertheless, he's got a good triangle here, and he's underneath. He's lifting. Now this is some practice film, New York Jets. Bill Callahan, who's now the offensive line coach of the Cleveland Browns, one of the best in the game. And he'll tell you, he learned everything from McNally and Strollo. He learned all his technique from them. And he'll tell you, I met the guy, he's a great guy. But this is when he was coaching the Jets. And they were working some long arm stuff. See how they're moving sideways. Trying to stay square, and see how he goes with one arm there. This is all about one arm. He's cutting off with one arm. All right, watch 79 here. Playing long, fighting his hands, puts him down. Right here. See how square? Look at his feet. He keeps his base wide. He's not going 100 miles an hour. But I'm telling you, the energy and the power he's putting into his legs and generating to his feet, his anchors, is quite a lot. There we go. Wide base. Yeah, he got a little wide with his hands. Wants to keep his hands a little tighter. Watch this center. Okay, watch the right guard. Again, he's a good one. See square? Is he gets his feet square before he makes contact. He roots his feet before he makes contact. Watch this center. This is what I'm talking about. The long arm, using one arm. Watch the center. He's going to take his right arm and put it in the middle of this guy's chest and run block him, cut him off, reach block him essentially. Watch. Look. He's got one arm right there. There's the other arm. No contact there. Look, he's got him reached. One arm is longer than two. Watch the center again. Look at that. There's a gap here. Because this guy knows he's getting reached and he's trying to fight outside. Because he knows this guy's got him reached. Back just takes it up inside. But again, watch the fit, watch the footwork. Okay, that's that one. Anybody have any questions? And I just I just want to go over pass sets, and this is with Jim McNally and Scott Peters. Again, Scott Peters played about 6 years in the NFL. Super strong guy. He was a world champ in jiu-jitsu, and he took what he learned in jiu-jitsu and applied it to football technique. So he's part of the whole Strollo, McNally, Callahan, group, and they pull their what they've learned and utilize the best of what they have. And so Scott is now the assistant offensive line coach of the Cleveland Browns with Bill Callahan.
Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about
is-
pass protection. If you'll notice, angle
That's Jim McNally, my old coach, who's again, one of the best.
This relates to the offensive tackles. I'll draw it on the left side because this is the clip that we're going to watch. Okay, so let's say a defensive end is out here fairly wide. He might be in a loose 5 or, you know, he's out there, okay? He's not right up on top of you. And we have different angles. We have an angle A, which is a fairly flat angle. I don't know, that's somewhere between 20 and 30 degrees. Then an angle B, which is about a 45 degree. And then an angle C, which is probably a 65 to 70 degree angle. So this angle A is an angle where you can get out on the guy quickly. You don't have to back up on him. It's shuffle type footwork. The outside foot is back, the inside foot is up. But the bottom line is that when you go out, when you go this flat on a wide defender, all right, if you go too far and get too far in front of them, you're vulnerable to getting beat inside. So with this angle A, what we like to say is, as the offensive tackle gets out there, all right, he only has to get a quarter of him, or he only has to tap him or touch him with his outside hand. Notice the outside hand on about the inside shoulder pad. So even though you're not getting most of the defender foot to crotch, the length of your arm stabbing the man will make up the distance to get in front of him. I hope that's not too complicated. What I'm saying is if you're the left tackle, for example, and you get out here and get a normal, you know, foot to crotch on the guy where you're slightly inside out, he can still beat you inside. So when you only get a little bit of the guy, not quite hardly anything at all, you're way inside out, the extension of your outside arm can get on him almost before he makes 2 steps, okay? And when you stick that outside arm on him, you can bring it back, you can knock his hands down with your inside hand, which you'd call a trap or a knockdown. You could stick him with your outside hand and then use your outside hand as the knockdown or the trap hand. You know, let's not worry so much about the multiple uses of the finish of the block. Let's just look at the angle that a tackle can take so he doesn't have to back up all day. All right, this is used on early downs. This can probably be used anytime except when you think a tackle end stun is coming, all right? I've seen this guy get out here and use angle A and get his hands on this guy and disrupt him before he could even twist. So you're going to have to make some decisions on exactly when you want to use this, but I will say this, why should your tackles be backing up all day? Okay, so here's angle A. If you'll watch number 77 for Dallas, all right?
Mark, you guys can hear this, right?
So he's got
Mark?
Yeah.
You can hear that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
a quick feed, he's foot firing. But when you notice when he sticks that outside hand,
He's punching him.
I don't know where the outside
shoulder.
hand exactly goes. I know this, don't lean your shoulders, all right? So when you're moving to your outside, just don't lean. So whatever that is, whatever that extension is where you're not leaning, you've still got maybe a slightly inside out tilt, okay? You can put that thing out as hard as you want or as soft as you want.
But guys, Coach, the big thing is maintaining posture. If he reaches too far and bends at the waist, he's in trouble. So we always want to keep the shoulders back, keep the shoulders bowed, keep an arc in the spine, the curve in the spine. Because once you bend, this guy's just going to come right around the edge.
As long as you don't get over your center of gravity. So you'll notice number 77, he's way inside out. I mean, he doesn't even have a quarter of the man, but he makes up the distance with his arms, okay? And most of these tackles have longer arms than the guards, all right? So if you'll see this, if you go back, the defensive guy takes 2 steps and he hardly gets his 3rd step on the ground, all right? So if you'll see this, if you go back,
see how he's forcing him to go wider as a result of this? And this guy wants, the shortest distance between two points is a straight line. But now he's got to round it out. And it all gives him more time.
the defensive guy takes 2 steps and he hardly gets his 3rd step on the ground. All right? And then he Then 77, you know, works his hands, and then he throws the guy down or traps.
This guy he doesn't want to turn, never wants to turn right away. He wants to stay flat to the line as long as he can. You see a lot of guys, they just open up like this. They'll just open like, you know, right from the start. Well, you just made life so much easier for this guy because he's just going to come right through here, right through there. But the more you stay square to the line, he's got to go around. He's got to work your edge more.
Him or cuffs him, as Scotty would call. All right, let's watch it again. You know, your feet have got to be tight. What I mean, no big steps, right? Little short shuffles. Boom. All right. See the outside hand?
He's not attacking him. He's not really going after him.
Now, for whatever reason, this guy's got real long arms. So
watch where he punches him, right out here. So this way, if the guy comes inside, he's got this hand that he can pick him up with, right? But if he punches him here with that hand, this guy can just loop around. He's taking his outside edge. He's taking that away from him. And he's pretty much staying square to the line, forcing him to go wider.
you know, his stab almost goes to the outside. I don't know exactly where that is, but I know this: stay inside out. All right, stay inside out, and stay more inside out than you would on a normal set. All right, and then watch his quick hands. All right.
Now, coaches, what he means by inside out, he's got this foot in here, so he's inside of the play. This guy's outside. But if he, you know, if he got lined up straight with him, this guy could just come inside. Like if he went out too far to get him, this guy could just come right inside and beat him. So he wants to keep that inside. He wants to stay inside of this guy to make him go around. And if he does come inside, he can pick him up.
Outside stab, inside trap down. Then he recovers, he traps him again, or he snaps his hands down.
Coach, before we go, the big thing is hands. Mix up the hands. Get your guys striking heavy bags, mixing the hands up. Never throw two hands at once. Because you throw two hands at once, what does it happen? What happens? Most times you wind up bending. You're throwing all that force out and you're bending. And if you miss, you're really in trouble. If you throw one hand at a time, you'll keep your body upright, your shoulders back. And plus, even so, if the defensive lineman, say he's a good one, knocks your hand down, you come around the other one. Now you come around the other one. But you want to keep mixing the hands up. 1, 2, 1, 2. You really never want to throw two hands at once because it gets you in trouble. You get your center of gravity out in front of you, get you off balance.
All right.
Angle A is a flat set, okay? So you saw the clips.
This is Scott Peters, one of the best technique guys in football.
So that Coach McNally showed of some of the guys in the NFL doing this. Left tackle for the Cowboys, Tyron Smith, does an excellent job with this set. And the set is so good because it's basically taking the fight to the defender. We're not trying to let him up on a lot of vertical sets where guys are playing soft, and the junction point happens right where the pocket is, and we can't afford to get any collapse in the pocket.
You see how quick this guy turns? He could still drop and stay square and make this guy go wider, but he just turns. He gives him the edge right off.
So what Angle A allows us to do is to get on this guy. It's kind of effective, like similar to a jump set in that regard. What it does on a wide rusher, so you want to have a looser guy, maybe a 7 or a 9 technique. A lot of guys like doing this with the tight end, but if you don't have that, you get good at it. You want to take that flat set. You're keeping your weight on the inside foot in the post. So as I sit out here, I'm setting pretty flat. You know, I'll still have a slight angle, maybe 20 degrees or so, depending upon the width of the rusher. But what I want to do is I'm going to make contact long with my outside hand, very similar to a boxer. He's going to make a jab. It's a jab, so he's setting up that cross. Okay, so watch this now. We're going to take this Angle A set, just getting the 3-point. We're going to go about half speed. Get a little wider though, Marshall. There you go. Just going to take my set. Touch here. That's my first point. That's the first point of contact. Try not to take your hand too far past his opposite, too far past the center line. some guys will get in some trouble if they try to go too wide, they drift, and then that's when they might get beat or they're vulnerable inside. But this is really effective because, one, as I engage him, he doesn't get that chance to get a hold.
Coach's main thing is watch his strike. It's not with a half bent arm. It's with his arm is locked. He's getting it out there with force and stopping his charge. All right. But he's only using one arm, a long arm, and it's a good punch.
A lot of movement, not a lot of momentum. He's not going to recognize what's going on. When I vertical set back here, I've got a bunch of kicks going. He's got a chance to do a lot of things, build momentum, kind of throw me off with his timing and things like that. This way, I'm striking him first. I'm putting my hands on him. I'm going to finish the play and stretch him far beyond the width of the pocket, okay? So, again, first point, I want to touch down with my left hand like a jab, okay? So, here. Okay, as he goes upfield, this hand's loaded. Boom! I'm gonna basically jam this guy. I'm gonna slam this guy with that right cross. It's like a boxer, boom, boom. And all I'm doing is I can turn because I'm so wide, okay? You'll hear this all the time. Don't turn as a tackle. Well, when you're out here and you take that fight to the guy and he's in a wide technique, I can turn. I'm here, boom. The quarterback's back here. Now I'm just kind of playing basketball. I can finish him, okay? So the angle A is an excellent set. It's very, very effective if done properly. Again, don't bring this hand, don't overset the guy. This hand should not really cross too far over that center line. You'll see it right in the midline, but don't go past the center line. It's a critical coaching point. You can touch a near point shoulder too, but you don't want to miss there. So anything in that place side pec is good. All right, so again, 1, 2, you're gonna actually use your hip, boom, boom, you're gonna then force torque, and now you're playing, now you got him basically sealed off at a good distance from the quarterback. So if I've connected here, then I can actually just generate. I want to probably hit here. This is a great contact point here. Here, I don't want to slip and miss. So this point here, Marshall comes upfield, touch here, and I can jam him up this way. Okay. Let's say he gets a hand inside. Maybe he comes in with his left hand, like the Colts player did to Tyrant. So you come in here. He's got here. Now if he's leaning on me a little bit, I can trap him down. Okay. I can cuff him down. Here's another technique. His hands on the chest here, a little bit low sternum. I can cuff him down by just basically dropping him. What I'm doing on the cuff, notice I've got some firm grip. I touch here, but he's got a hand in. And if he's low enough, I'm just gonna apply pressure downward on that elbow. And I'm gonna jump back a little bit. He'll find himself on the ground if he's got enough momentum lean forward. Okay. So all I'm doing is, most of these guys, when they do that long arm, they're so far extended, they're trying to get all their body weight, they're really using us to hold themselves up. All I'm doing is disconnecting pressure. When I do that, I'm either gonna chop. I don't wanna bring it high. Don't do that, that's when you get pushed back. So it's either a cuff, which is I'm really just cuffing down, applying pressure to that elbow joint, hopping back, letting him go to the ground, or I can knife him, which hitting that radial nerve here, it's really painful. I'm just dropping.
All right, Coach, Scott gets into some really minute points here, which is fine. But the point of the whole thing is I can't emphasize enough about being condensed and protecting your chest, your hands in tight, using your hands one at a time, and again your base, and also the brace step. So I don't know. Do you guys have access to YouTube? I'm guessing you do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because some guys. Mark John Strollo is a guy. He's got about 30 videos up on YouTube, and that's what I mean. Like a lot of coaches try charging for this stuff. He just puts it out there, and you'll learn more watching his. I in an ideal world, I would have somebody working with me and showing you, but the weather isn't that great here, and I figured, these guys are doing it better than I would do it anyway. But so just watch John Strollo, Jim McNally. They're all available. Watch their techniques. These guys love teaching technique. That's what they're all about. They do the X's and O's because the schemes, they have to. That's what makes the plays go. But without the good fundamentals and the good technique, they're not nearly as effective as they could be. Does anybody have any questions I can answer? Or? Mark, do you need anything else?
No, I think that everything was great. Yeah, does anybody else have anything before we go?
And you know, if anybody has questions, they can feel free to contact me. But again, if you can, I don't know if you can get a message to them or whatever, but yeah, John Strollo, Strollo. He's phenomenal. I mean, he is, you talk about a coach being a teacher, that's him. So I hope it was helpful, guys.
Yeah. Thanks for your time. We
You just gotta
appreciate
do
it.
over, and just don't hesitate to reach out if I can answer any questions or reinforce anything.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Appreciate it.
All right.
You're
Thanks a
welcome.
lot.
We'll see you.
Okay.